In this video, guys, we shall be taking a look at the 2008 DreamWorks movie Kung Fu Panda. So without further ado, let's get into today's review. Let's get into it. So I thought then that this movie was solid, and I thought it was one of the best animated DreamWorks movies out there, as it's up there with the likes of Shrek and the Madagascar franchises. And to me, I think Kung Fu Panda is vastly overrated in my eyes. However, I do like this film. I do think it's a solid movie, and I do think that Kung Fu Panda offers us something completely different to DreamWorks, in which we haven't seen before, in which is a bit cultural in that retrospect, as it doesn't show us everything that like Shrek does, everything like Madagascar does. It shows us more of a cultural sort of theme going on, more in I think it's in China or Japan, somewhere like that. It's a bit more culture, and I think it just felt overall different because of that. And I felt the story was fresh and solid, and I think that's what makes a good movie, mixing it up, especially in a good animated studio network like DreamWorks. And I think this just worked. So I also thought then that Jack Black was also a big part of the success of Kung Fu Panda as well, because I think Kung Fu Panda wouldn't be the same without Jack Black. And I'm not a big fan of Jack Black, I don't know if you've noticed, but he is very annoying. And to me, I think that in this type of role, it worked. But when you're seeing him on screen most of the time in some of the other crap movies like Shallow Hal, I just think, enough Jack Black. So yeah, like I said, I think he excelled in likes of this, Jumanji, and a few other roles recently, like School of Rock, where he can be that goofy character and it just work. But I think behind the voice, I think you can see a lot of passion went into this character, and I think it came out on screen, and I think he was the perfect choice. And I don't think this movie would have been the same without him being in it, because he gave the energy, the charisma, the absolute annoying attitude that this character needed to be up there with some of the other DreamWorks characters, like some Shrek, Donkey, and he put Poe alongside those, and in the right mold of those sort of characters. Got comedy, sort of got a different background, different backstory, and introduced us to a new fresh character in the DreamWorks Studios franchise. And I think this was awesome, just to see this new character evolve in this movie, of this nobody who works in creating noodles and stuff like that, to now being the Kung Fu Master. And I think that sort of worked. The story element of Poe growing throughout the movie was great. And yeah, it was just a solid way of moving this movie, and it felt different, felt fresh, and that's why I like this movie, I think. And a lot of that boils down to how well it is written. On that then, I thought it was well written, but I think something that made this movie good is how it was so simple, but so effective. We've seen that so much in the past with animation movies, how simple and slowed down and condensed down something can be, and it be one of the best movies ever. Because it's so simple, and you get the ending. You know what's going to happen all the way through the movie. Yeah, Poe's going to become a Kung Fu Master and then have to defeat Tai Lung, who's just recently broke out of prison. You know that's going to happen. But it's just, how's he going to get there? And that's the thing we were all trying to figure out, how is he going to get there? And his love of food actually gets him to be like a Kung Fu Master and be able to defeat Tai Lung. The only thing I don't like about this movie, necessarily speak, is the ending, as I think the ending really, really spoils this movie, because Tai Lung is presented as a badass villain throughout the movie, breaking out of prison after hearing about that the scroll was going to be given to the new Kung Fu Master, in which was going to be Poe. And he was pissed. He was very fucking pissed. And obviously then he wanted to get out of prison to take that scroll, because he thought that he deserved it more than Poe, because he was the ultimate Kung Fu Master type of character. And I thought the ending was very disappointing, as we see Tai Lung absolutely wipe through most of the Furious Five, and then come head to head with Poe. And then Poe just no-sells all his moves and sort of goes, oh, is that all you've got? And then defeats him really, really easy. Whereas I think they could have had a big onslaught of battle, similar to You know, when we knew in Monsters Inc., where we knew Sully was gonna defeat Randall and Mike and Sully were gonna take him down. We knew that was gonna happen, but what we didn't know is how that was gonna happen. And the way it happened was a big onslaught battle, and I think that's what makes the movie good. But yeah, I think that element of things was missing in this movie. The big villain, the big showdown, and it just fell flat on its face. I suppose it was more of a comedy movie, so really, did you expect a big show off, like big show off, big showcase of a finish? Probably not, but I think it would have made the movie 10 times better in my opinion. I think as a whole, this movie just felt so predictable, but it worked as a predictable movie. I'd rather something be predictable and be good rather than shit and unpredictable. Like, it's so confusing. So in a way, I don't mind predictability if it's like this and it makes it into a solid movie. But if it fails and gets so confusing that you're lost, then that's not a good movie. Simplicity is always the best in my eyes. I'd rather a simple movie than an absolute complicated movie, and that's why I think Kung Fu Panda is up there with some of the best DreamWorks movies out there. Although I don't think it's quite on Shrek's and Madagascar's level, I think it's just on the level below because it is a solid movie, but you've got to admit that the ending could have been a tad bit better, like we've previously mentioned. Finally, I thought the actors and actresses were amazing as we saw the likes of obviously Jack Black, like we mentioned, Dustin Hoffman, Angelina Jolie. We saw the likes of Ian McShane, Jackie Chan. We saw the likes of Seth Rogen, Lucy Liu, David Cross, and James Hong, just to name a few of the star-studded cast in this movie that did voiceovers and did an incredible job, by the way. To summarise Kung Fu Panda then, I thought that this was a solid animated movie, and it's probably up there with the step down from the likes of Shreks and Madagascars of this world, and it's probably on that second tier, that B. If they're like A class, they're B, and I think that Kung Fu Panda is a solid movie, but doesn't reach its probably full potential, as the ending could have been a bit better. However, it did its job, hence why I've rated this movie a 7.5 and a world-class film. So let me know down in the comments down below what your thoughts are on this particular movie then. Also, if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to be alerted to all new content that this channel creates, and I shall see you guys in the next one. Thanks.